welcome to the class, everyone. Let's get started. So, welcome, V.
Yes, hello, teacher.
Hello there. So, how often do you shop for fashion items in a month?
Not very frequently. I would say once a month.
Okay, not frequently. Once a month. Okay, perfectly reasonable. Thank you for sharing, V. And welcome to the class, Wing.
Hi, teacher.
Hello there. Now, how often do you shop for fashion items?
I think that I shop for fashion items twice or 3 times a month.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for sharing, Wing. So, here we have quite a few locations where you can buy clothes or accessories, shopping malls, local stores, and even second-hand shops. So, Miss Tao, welcome to the class.
Hello, teacher.
Hello there. Where do you often buy clothes or accessories?
I often buy clothes in the shopping malls, or I often wear local brands.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you for sharing that, Miss Tao. So, local stores, marvelous. And welcome to the class. I'm so sorry. What
Yeah.
can I call you?
Fu. You can call me Fu.
Oh,
Fu.
Fuang. Fuang.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Well, it's nice to meet you, Fuang.
Yes. Nice to meet you, teacher.
Nice to meet you too. So, where do you often buy clothes or accessories?
So I often buy clothes at local store and online. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Fuang. Right. Now, in today's session, we're going to discuss shopping habits a little more. You'll also be able to talk about your shopping habits and discuss why some people have the pressure to buy a lot of fashion items. You'll also be able to discuss how to shop smartly. Now, let's discuss your shopping habits. First, we'll consider retail therapy. So, do you think retail therapy is a good way to make you happy? Miss V.
Yes, I think it's a good way to make me feel happy. Because I think retail therapy can give me the sense of achievement. Like I want to buy something and I can buy it. So kind of achievement, accomplishment for me.
Okay, marvelous. Well, thank you for your thoughts, Miss V. Now, Miss Gwyn, do you like to go window shopping?
Yes, I like going window shopping. Because I don't have to spend my money on buying things, but I still get the feeling of like watching beautiful fashion items. I think that is enough for me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I too like not spending money, so I completely agree with you, Miss Gwyn. Fantastic. Now, let's ponder the next question. So, do you prefer designer brands or vintage clothes? Miss Tao, do you have any preference?
Yeah, I prefer designer brands.
And why is that?
I think those brands is well designed.
Okay, well, that's quite reasonable. What about vintage clothes?
It's good, but I think designer brands fit me well.
Okay, Well, I think that's completely reasonable. Thank you, Ms. Tao. And Ms. Fuang, how about you? What's your preference here? Oh, I'll just unmute you, Ms. Fuang.
Yes, I prefer designer brands because I think the material is quite good and also the experience can fit for me.
Okay, wonderful. And what do you think about vintage clothes?
I think it's not suitable for me, so I don't like vintage fashion. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely reasonable. Thank you for sharing, Fuang. Well, great work, everyone. Now, let's consider the following. Have you ever been in debt because you bought a fashion item you couldn't afford? Miss V.
I I haven't. Yeah, because when I buy something, I will always take the prices into consideration, and I have never spent too much money on any item.
Okay, well, that's very reasonable. Thank you, V. And Miss Quinn, how about you?
I also haven't been in debt because buying any fashion item I couldn't afford. I think that there might be 1 or 2 times I spend a little too much, but I've never been in debt.
Okay. Okay, well, that's absolutely fine. I think we've all been in that kind of situation. It's totally understandable. Thank you, Quinn. Right. Well, I think now we can consider another situation. So perhaps being ripped off. Have you ever bought any fashion item that you think is a rip-off? Miss Tao?
No, I don't. No, I haven't. Because I always make a shopping list before I buy something.
Okay. Well, that's very responsible. Always make a shopping list and avoid such a problem. Marvelous. And Miss Huang, how about you? Have you ever been ripped off?
No, I haven't because before buying anything, I make a well consideration.
Okay. Always
Yeah.
consider deeply. Fair enough. I think that's a great approach. Right. Well, thank you all for sharing your ideas here. Now, what we'll do is we're just going to do a small questionnaire. For each question, you will read and choose one option that is the most accurate for you. Each option corresponds to a number of points. After completing the questionnaire, you will have time to add up your score. So I'm just going to send this in the chat box, and I'd like you all just to, of course, consider the following questions. So we have the score template here, which I'd like you all just to copy and paste onto a document on your computers. And then we're going to go through the questionnaire together. I will show you all the questions and read them aloud. You'll have about 15 seconds for each question. So in total, we'll take about 2 minutes for this. Let's try this. So, what do you care about the most when you buy clothes? Now, number 2, if you see something you really like but can't afford, what do you do? Question 3. if you go shopping and can't buy anything, how do you feel? Question 4. Do you ever buy designer brands? Question 5. Do you believe in retail therapy? And question 6. Do you ever buy second-hand clothes? Right, so now when you're all ready, you can just add up your scores and send them in the chat box. It's absolutely fine. Perfect, so I think that would be almost everyone. When you're ready, you can just send your results. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Ms. Fuang. Right, so I think with this, we'll just take a look at the results. So I'll give you about 30 seconds to just read the results and think about questions 1 and 2. So you can just look for your score here and consider what it says. You all have 30 seconds to read and think about these questions. All right. Now, I'll just get each of you to answer these questions based on this outline. So first, you can just discuss your score. You can then talk about what it says about you, and then, of course, your opinion about the results. You should give examples from the descriptions to explain why you agree or disagree with it. So I think we can just practice this a little bit. So, Miss V, would you like to tell us what type of shopper are you?
Okay, so my score is 16. So the result here says I'm a practical shopper, and I totally agree with it. Because as I mentioned before, I always can take the prices into consideration when I buy something, and also I will also consider if I will use this item a lot or during a long time. And really, I don't care about the latest fashion. I only care if it fits me and I can use it. Yes, that's it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think that's perfectly reasonable. Now, I'd like to ask you, did you suspect you were this kind of shopper before you did this questionnaire?
Yes, before doing this questionnaire, I do think I am a practical shopper.
Okay, marvelous. Thank you for sharing your response, V, and well done. So overall, you gave a very clear answer with no significant problems. I'm very happy with that. Just some very tiny errors, of course, just with words like this, the, and this, but not too many. Fantastic work. Now, let's continue to Miss Gwing next. When you're ready, you can tell us what type of shopper you are.
My score is 20. So the result here says I am a practical shopper, and I can't agree more. I don't mind shopping, and I find shopping really interesting, and it works for me when I'm stressed. Yeah, so I love shopping, but if the fashion item is too expensive, or or if it is a rip-off, I will not buy it. Yeah, because I don't want to be into that. Yeah, and I think that I'm interested in the latest fashion sometimes, but yeah, I'm also careful with my money. Yeah, so I think that is true that I'm a practical shopper.
Okay, marvelous. And one final question, sorry. Did you learn these kinds of shopping habits from your parents at all?
Yeah, I think that I've learned these shopping habits from my mother. She used to be a shopaholic. She like always shopping. She's always shopping, especially from online stores. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing, Miss Gwing, and well done here. So I think you gave a very good answer and even explanation for your current shopping habits. Yes, my apologies, I forgot to start the timer. But speaking of your performance, we just had some very mild errors here or there with these kinds of words, just with words like the, that, and think. Just some very mild errors, but overall, great speech, Miss Queen. Right, let's continue to Miss Tao next. When you're ready, you can share with us your results.
Yes, my score is 16, and the result shows I am a practical shopper, and I totally agree with the result. Um, the reason I am a practical shopper because as I said, I always make a shopping list before I go to the stores, and moreover, I always consider the price of the items with my budget. Um, and the last reason, I always try not to pick the things or the item spontaneously. I I have to stick on my budget. So yeah, that's why I'm a practical one.
Okay, fair enough, Miss Tao. Now, I do have another question. Has there ever been an item that you have seen in a store or maybe online, which you didn't intend to buy previously, but you realized would be very useful or suitable to buy?
Yeah. Yes, it happens sometimes, but I have to consider the price before I decide to buy it or not.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think that's quite reasonable. Sometimes something comes up and we rationalize buying it, or we realize that it would be very useful to have. So I think that's quite normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, marvelous. And thank you for your response, Tao. I think you gave a very good and clear answer as to why you're a practical shopper with suitable reasons. We had some very tiny errors here. I think there was certainly improvement in your speech, just mild ones with words like the and that, but not any significant errors. So great work here. Right, and I think with this, we'll just go to Phương next. So when you're ready.
Yes, my score is 14, and the result here says I'm a practical shopper, and I can't agree more because before shopping, I always make a list like Miss Tariq and also set a limit budget for every item. And also, I don't care about trend. I just care about the item that whether suitable or fit for me and the users. Shows the answer here. I satisfied.
Okay, fantastic, Ms. Phương. So my question for you is, do you find you have always been a practical shopper, or are there times where you feel like a shopaholic, or perhaps you're more economic? So maybe, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Sure,
Well,
I think I'm quite practical than a shopaholic because I like surfing my window shopping. Yeah.
Okay, well, perfectly reasonable there. Thank you for sharing your answer, Ms. Phương, and well done. Right, so you gave a very good response there, and your reasons for being a practical shopper are absolutely sound. Now, we just experienced a couple of mild mispronunciations here or there, but not too many, just with words such as always, the, and think. But great work overall, Ms. Phương. Right, and good job, everyone. I think with this, we can get to the next activity. So we have this lady here who is, of course, talking about her own shopping habits. So it seems that she loves to go shopping 2 or 3 times a week, and she feels better after doing so. And we also have another man down here who's a huge fan of David Beckham, and he's willing to buy all the expensive items that David Beckham wears. Wow. We also have this lady down here who works in the fashion field, and she wants to follow the latest trends and have the highest quality fashion items. Now, which reason is similar to you or someone that you know of? Miss V.
I think the first reason is similar to me. Yeah, I do think shopping makes me feel better, feels relaxed after working hours.
Okay, well, that's quite natural. Thank you, V. And Miss Tao, how about you?
The first reason fit me more, but I don't go shopping as much as her, and 3 times a week is a lot.
I certainly think so. Well done, Ms. Tao. Now, what could be some other reasons why some people have the pressure to buy a lot of fashion items? Miss Phương, does anything come to mind?
I think the reason the people have pressure to buy a lot of fashion item is appearance or gain weight because they don't fit the old item. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think sometimes certain items become quite old or outdated. Well done.
Yeah.
And Miss Quing, what do you think about this?
I think that some people may have the pressure to buy a lot of fashion items because they are bored. Like when they are bored or feel stressed, they go to the shopping malls, maybe just for fun or just for hanging out with friends. But they like certainly they see some very beautiful fashion items and yeah they buy it. Yes. to feel excited. They get the excitement when buying the items.
I could certainly imagine so. Great suggestions, Miss Queen. And well done, everyone. So yes, I think you've touched upon certain reasons why people would be pressured to buy a lot of fashion items. Boredom or stress is another good one. Running away from difficult situations. Now, you could also refer to this as escapism, but typically when we describe escapism, it might be watching a film or movie or even reading a book to just put yourself mentally in a different world. But I guess you could do this through shopping for expensive items, just distracting yourself. It also could be someone feels very insecure about their own situation, so buying something can help them to feel better. Of course, these are just possible reasons. Everyone will have different circumstances and psychologies regarding this, but it's just food for thought. Now, let's consider smart shopping. So typically, smart shopping refers to buying what you need while staying within your budget. Now, what I'd like you all to do is discuss how to shop for fashion items smartly and in an intelligent way. So in order to do this, I'm just going to put each of you into pairs. I think we'll have Tao and V work together in pair 1. And I'd like to get Wing and Huang to work together as well. So we'll just take a look at some potential ideas you may discuss. So here, this person talks about shopping alone, as it could be a friend or family member may make recommendations to them and sort of pressure them to buy something they don't really want or need. So that might be something that causes over shopping. Now, when you give opinions, you can use these phrases here. It's not an extensive list, but it's a good start. Now, I'm just going to create these breakout rooms and I'll start to organize you all into groups. And I think we'll take 5 minutes to do this starting now. So I'll send the activity and we will begin. Welcome back, everyone. So I'll just get set up and then we'll proceed to the next activity. So what we'll start off with is I'm just going to ask the first pair, Miss Tao and V, to share their ideas first. So, Miss Tao, would you like to present some of your group's ideas for this topic?
Yeah. I and Miss V also discussed about some of the ways to shop smartly. Firstly, we prefer to make a shopping list and also the budget for shopping. And we always stick to or stay on the budget while shopping. And the second thing, like I prefer shopping online recently because the price is cheaper and I can compare with other stores online, the styles, the materials, and also the price there.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing, Miss Tao. And Miss V, do you have anything else to add?
All right. So these are the ideas that we both agree on during our discussion. So making a shopping list or the budget will help us to focus on buying what we really need and avoid overspending, and also like for shopping online, I mean we can do some research beforehand. So maybe we can search for that item online, and maybe we can compare the price between this store or the other stores, so that we can decide which one we prefer to buy it. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Miss V and Tao. So, Miss Huang, what do you think of V and Tao's ideas?
Yes, I totally agree with them and value their preference for shopping online. I think it's a good advice to do the research online before going shopping.
Okay, marvelous. Thank you for your feedback, Huang. And Miss Quinn, how about you?
Yeah, I also agree with pair one. I like the idea of making a shopping list before going shopping, because it's really helpful, and like it helps us to avoid spending too much than we can afford.
Okay. Marvelous. Well, thank you for your feedback here, Miss Quinn. Right. So I think with this, I'd like to go to pair two for their ideas. So, Miss Quinn, would you like to start off sharing your group's ideas when you're ready?
Yeah. I think that we should set a budget before going shopping, to not buy more than we can. And another idea is that we should pay with cash when we go shopping, and we shouldn't use credit cards or the debit cards to pay, because paying with cash like somehow feels more real, and we can control how much we spend. Yeah, and it's somehow very difficult to control when we pay with the credit cards, and we may get into debt.
Okay, fascinating. An interesting suggestion, Miss Quinn. Well done. And Miss Fuang, do you have anything else to add?
I think we should ask ourselves where we will wear the fashion item before buy it, because I care about most about how what it uses and how long can I use it. So, and also we shouldn't go shopping when we are poor, because buying and buy can make we are happy, so we are crazy to buy and buy, so we lost the control.
Okay, fair enough. I think you've touched upon something there, actually considering the utility or the longevity of the things we're paying for. Well done, Fuang. Thank you. Right. And Miss V, what do you think about pair two's ideas?
Yes, I see they have many interesting idea, and I do agree with them. And I especially like the idea of using cash instead of credit cards. Yeah, I think it's easier for us to control our spendings.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing, V. And Miss Tao, what do you think?
Mostly I agree with pair two, and I totally agree. If we can ask whether the item necessary or not while going shopping, and the idea of shopping by using debit or credit cards, I think is not really a bad idea.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think you do have an interesting perspective as well, Miss Tao. Great work. Right, and fantastic job, everyone. So let's take a look at some recommended ideas. And I think you were all very accurate with this. So of course, make a shopping list, as I think you all went over, as well as setting a budget. Paying with cash is another idea which came up. Another suggestion here is don't shop when we are bored or upset. So I think this speaks to just having some kind of emotional control when we are shopping. And of course, final suggestion, which was brought up by pair 2, asking ourselves whether or not we would actually wear or use something. So fantastic performance, everyone. Right, I think with that, okay, maybe I forgot to use the timers, but it doesn't matter. I think you all did exceptionally well answering in a reasonable time frame. So now let's quickly review. Miss V, what are 3 types of shoppers we discussed?
Yes, we have economic shopper, practical shopper, and shopaholic.
Fantastic. Well done, Miss V. And let's see, Miss Cow, why do some people have the pressure to buy a lot of fashion items?
At first, I think they might feel insecure and they have to possess expensive items.
Fantastic. Yes, I think having that need to possess expensive items is a huge pressure a lot of people might feel, especially with social media. It may also be to feel good or to run away from difficult situations. Now, Ms. Huang, can you remember some of the ways we can shop smartly for fashion items?
Yeah, we should make a shopping list, set a budget, and use cash to go shopping.
Fantastic. Thank you, Huang. And Ms. Guing, are there any other ideas we covered in the last activity?
We also shouldn't shop when we feel bored or upset. And we should ask ourselves before going shopping, like in what situations we will wear that item.
Perfect. That was certainly something we discussed. Great job here. And well done, you two. So I think with that, we'll just take a look at everyone's performance. So all in all, I'm delighted with the way you approached today's topic. You all demonstrated a very strong understanding of shopping habits, especially in regards to fashion items. And everyone completed today's tasks successfully. So fantastic work. Again, there were no significant vocabulary or grammar errors. You were all able to accurately define certain ideas or concepts using suitable words. And there were no major consistent errors that came up. Everyone has a very strong understanding of English grammar. Now, of course, I do sound like a broken record at this point. One of the chief problems we had were just for those th and th sounds in this session. Now, I will, of course, reiterate one solution I have mentioned before, but I'm also going to talk about a different approach you may wish to consider. No one struggled to pronounce the final consonant sounds. There may have been the occasional error just with words like always or bits, but these were just tiny mistakes. Now, as a very brief reminder, you can, of course, practice your mistakes, as I've mentioned previously. So, for example, think versus ting, the versus da or za, as this will help bring awareness to these types of mistakes. So that's the first thing you can try. I will send a list of the errors I heard in the feedback on the NATIVEX system. So you will recognize what words were mispronounced. Now, the next thing I would like you all to do is also to consider shadowing practice. So shadowing practice is a very strong method for developing fluency. If you can do this in addition to regular study with NATIVEX, you can do some accent training and just iron out any of those smaller mistakes. I've used this technique in my own language learning. It certainly helped me to improve my own Vietnamese pronunciation. And I think it's just such a strong method for language learning. So I'll just provide the steps in the chat box for everyone. Now, you can find any kind of video or audio clip. You can even use this with audio clips and video clips at NATIVEX. So just anything where you can listen to an English speaker. Listen very carefully to the way the speaker pronounces the sentence and just try to get the meaning. After you've listened a couple of times, when you're ready, you can repeat after the speaker as carefully as you can, sound for sound and word for word. So by doing this, you are drilling the native speaker's pronunciation and intonation, but also the way they pronounce the words. So if they are saying, for example, I think that there are many things, if you're trying to imitate them, you're going to be drilling, I think that there are many things. So over time, you're going to be drilling the and the naturally. And as you practice this method, you will continue to drill and make natural English pronunciation. So this is another method you can all try for just dealing with these the and the sounds. One of the biggest difficulties of these sounds is students may have pronounced these or practiced these for such a long time, they've become a habit. So it does take a bit of work to undo them. But with consistent practice at NATIVEX and by following some of my suggestions, I'm sure you will all succeed in undoing these errors. Not an issue. In terms of fluency, you were all very successful in expressing your ideas clearly with great reasons. So I don't think anyone lacked confidence or hesitated when speaking today. Well done, everyone. Right. Now, let's consider the following. Miss Phuong, what would you like to work on to be a smart shopper? When you're ready.
Yeah, I think, so can you explain more about work on?
Okay, so when you work on something, you just practice it or improve it. So maybe you don't feel as though you sorry, my apologies. Maybe you don't feel as though you shop smartly at this time, but you want to improve. And what exactly would you need to improve to be a smart shopper? Does that make sense?
Yes,
Go ahead.
understand. Thank you. So I think we should review the last bill that we pay for the item that we bought, and also review the price, and also make the well consideration before buying them.
Okay, fantastic, Phuong. Thank you. And Miss Quinn, how about you?
I feel like sometimes when I am bored, I just want to go to the shopping malls and go window shopping, or like just go on the internet and look at beautiful items. And I think that is such a bad habit, because that makes me want to buy a lot. So I think that the next time when I get bored, I will find something else, like going out or playing sport or reading a book, so that I can like avoid the feeling of wanting to get or wanting to buy a fashion item.
Okay, I think that's a very reasonable strategy. If you can gradually undo or avoid these habits, you can get things under control. Thank you for sharing, Gwen. And Miss V, how about you?
All right. So for me, To become a smart shopper, I think I will focus on planning in organization by making detailed shopping lists and set a bit budget before buying anything.
Mhm. Fantastic. That's a very practical approach to this dilemma. Well done, V. And Miss Tao, would you like to share your thoughts?
Um, I think to be a smart shopper, you could consider buying clothes online.
Mhm. Okay. And why is that, Miss Tao?
Because online store, the clothes on the online stores usually is usually cheaper than you directly go to the store and buy the same item.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that makes a lot of sense, Miss Tao, and thank you for sharing that with us. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for your time in this afternoon's class. Please provide feedback as we want to give you a better experience at NATIVEX. Thank you so much, Phương, Quỳnh, V, and Hao for joining this class.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Thank you.